Have you ever felt like the world was out to get you? Like the universe has some sort of personal vendetta? If yes, then you're not alone. There are millions of others who have felt this way too. And there's one man who put these feelings into words. His name was Franz Kafka. But before we begin with the story, a little reminder. Support us by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Let's come back now to Franz Kafka. Kafka's name has become an adjective, Kafkaesque. It describes those moments when life feels surreal, nightmarish, and absurdly oppressive. But who was Kafka, and why does his writing still haunt us today? Well, let's find out. Kafka was born in 1883 in Prague, into a middle-class Jewish family. He was born to a well-to-do family, his father Hermann, who owned a successful wool and hair business. Initially, his parents had wanted to call him Franz, after St. Francis of Assisi, but decided to add the German ending, becoming Franz Kafka. He grew up speaking both Czech and German. Kafka grew up in the Jewish quarter of Prague, at a time when Jews were frequently subjected to prejudice and discrimination. The family lived on a street called the Jewish Lane, lined with old synagogues and the old Jewish cemetery. Here, beneath centuries-old tombstones, Kafka encountered the weight of history, both personal and collective, which later permeated his writing. Despite their relative prosperity, Kafka's childhood was not without hardship. The core of his family was his relationships with his father and mother. His father Hermann dominated the family, controlling every aspect of it. He was loud, critical, and treated everyone like servants, especially his wife and son. Kafka once described his father as a colossus, and his presence looms large in Kafka's writings, symbolizing authority, guilt, and alienation. Yet paradoxically, Hermann also expressed his love for his son through strict discipline and hard work. This complex relationship with his father became a central theme in Kafka's life and work. His father even chose his career path for him, wanting him to follow in his footsteps and go into business. But Kafka went to university and graduated in law. But even after qualifying as a lawyer, he never actually practiced, instead taking a job at an insurance company where he could apply his analytical skills. This choice symbolized the tension between duty and desire that runs through his writing. Despite his difficult family life, Kafka found solace in literature. From an early age, he devoured books, exploring fantastical worlds that offered an escape from his everyday reality. One pivotal moment came when he discovered the works of Nikolai Gogol, a Russian writer whose blend of realism and fantasy left an indelible impression on young Kafka. Gogol's ability to portray the absurdity and anxiety of life deeply resonated with Kafka, and he continued to admire him throughout his life. Another significant influence was the French symbolist painter and writer Charles Baudelaire, whose exploration of modern life and the darker aspects of human nature further shaped Kafka's artistic vision. These early influences nurtured a passion for writing that would eventually lead him to produce some of the most haunting and influential works of the 20th century. But behind his literary success, Kafka grappled with deep-seated insecurities and fears. His journals reveal a man tormented by self-doubt and a sense of inadequacy. He questioned his abilities as a writer and constantly sought validation from others. Despite the critical acclaim his work received posthumously, Kafka remained largely unknown during his lifetime. He died believing himself to be a failure, a tragic irony given the profound impact he would have on generations of readers and writers. His private life was marked by unrequited love and a deep sense of isolation. Kafka's personal life mirrored the alienation and disconnection he explored in his writing. He yearned for love and intimacy but often sabotaged his own relationships. Through self-imposed distance and emotional withdrawal, the intensity of his romantic feelings was matched only by his fear of commitment and vulnerability. One of his most significant relationships was with a woman named Julie, to whom he was deeply devoted. But despite his affection, he was unable to fully reciprocate her love due to his emotional constraints, leading to the relationship's eventual dissolution. This pattern of longing for connection while simultaneously pushing others away became a recurring motif in his life. By day, Kafka worked as a lawyer at an insurance company, and by night he wrote stories that captured the anxiety and absurdity of modern life. It was during these solitary hours that Kafka truly came alive. Writing provided him an escape from the drudgery of his day job and the complexities of his personal life. He poured his heart and soul into his stories, creating intricate narratives that delved into the darkest recesses of the human psyche. What makes his work so powerful is that he took ordinary situations, a job, a family, a trial, and pushed them into the realm of the absurd. This tension between the mundane and the surreal is what gives his writing its unique power. He showed how the everyday could become a source of profound anxiety and existential dread. Take the Metamorphosis, perhaps his most famous story. A man named Gregor Samsa wakes up one morning transformed into a giant insect. His family, once dependent on him, is horrified and slowly abandons him. The story is not really about bugs, it's less about the crushing loneliness of being misunderstood, and the way society rejects those who do not fit its expectations. Or look at The Trial. Here, A man named Joseph K. is suddenly arrested by mysterious authorities for a crime he does not know and cannot understand. He spends the rest of his life trapped in a maze of meaningless bureaucracy until he is executed like a dog. It's a story about power, guilt, and how systems can strip individuals of both dignity and truth. Kafka wasn't interested in providing easy answers or comforting resolutions. His stories often end not with a bang but with a whimper, leaving the reader to grapple with the ambiguity and unsettling nature of the narrative. This refusal to shy away from the uncomfortable aspects of existence is what makes his work so thought-provoking and enduring. Franz Kafka died at the age of 40 from tuberculosis. Before his death, he confided in a friend named Max Brod, asking him to burn all his manuscripts. However, Brod refused, defying Kafka's wishes, and instead published his friend's works. This act of defiance brought Kafkaesque stories to the world and established him as one of the most important writers of the 20th century. Now, why does Kafka still matter? In today's world, we are surrounded by technology, social media, and rapid advancements that shape our daily lives. Yet in the midst of this progress, many of us find ourselves disconnected, alienated, and overwhelmed by the complexities of modern existence. Kafka's work resonates with us because it captures the essence of these existential anxieties. His stories serve as a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and uncertainties. The themes he explored, such as alienation, bureaucracy, guilt, and the search for meaning, continue to be relevant in today's world. When we navigate the labyrinthine rules of bureaucratic institutions, lose ourselves in the vastness of online spaces, or grapple with the ethical dilemmas posed by technological advancements, we are confronted with the Kafkaesque realities of our time. There's a striking universality to Kafka's work that transcends the boundaries of time and place. For instance, have you ever been stuck in a bureaucratic maze, dealing with endless forms, rules, and uncaring officials? Kafka's The Trial and The Castle encapsulate the frustration and powerlessness we experience in such situations. In these stories, the protagonists are trapped in a web of red tape, unable to understand or challenge the system that is controlling their lives. Similarly, have you ever felt the isolating effects of technology and social media? In today's hyper-connected world, we often find ourselves more alone than ever before. Kafka's Metamorphosis explores the dehumanizing aspects of technology and the consequences of withdrawing into oneself. The protagonist's transformation into an insect symbolizes the alienation and disconnection that can result from our obsession with efficiency and progress. Moreover, Kafka's work continues to speak to us because of his masterful use of language. His ability to create vivid and evocative imagery, coupled with his precise and poetic style, allows us to fully immerse ourselves in his nightmarish worlds. Through his use of metaphor and symbolism, he invites us to interpret his stories on multiple levels, enriching our understanding of the human condition. So why does Kafka still matter? He matters because he captures the anxieties and uncertainties of our time. He reminds us of the importance of empathy, understanding, and the need for connection in an increasingly complex and fragmented world. As we navigate the challenges of modern existence, Kafka's work serves as a beacon, illuminating the darkness and helping us to find meaning and hope in the face of adversity. That was the end of this episode. Thank you for listening and supporting us. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. See you next time.